The city of Los Angeles has a new council president. This comes after the previous one stepped down over racist remarks in a leaked recording.
As protesters demonstrated outside City Hall in downtown Los Angeles on Tuesday, city council members held their regular meeting remotely, citing COVID concerns of a fellow member. After more than 3 hours of public comment from residents calling into the meeting, the council finally unanimously voted for Paul Krikorian as the new council president.
And I want you to know that as long as I am given the privilege of serving in this office as your president, the presidency will be a collective enterprise. It'll be a presidency that relies on a leadership team of diverse abilities and diverse experiences and diverse backgrounds and diverse viewpoints.
Council members Kevin De Leon and Gil Cedillo, who Angelenos have called out to resign, were absent from the meeting.
There should be no voting for council president until De Leon and Cedillo resign. Mitch O'Farrell's interim presidency is illegitimate because his own staff participated in these conversations, including discussing paying off Democratic clubs. This entire meeting is illegitimate. You held Wednesday's meeting in person, knowing that Biden had COVID. So why is this meeting virtual? Because you don't like the national media attention you're receiving?
We got a lot of born-again reformers on this council now. Nuri is no longer standing in the way. It's on you. And I don't like the approach I've had to have over the last 2 years. But it's been necessary because of who's been in council president. She's been nothing like Herb Weston on these issues. I warned Nuri. We either work together to find compromise or we relentlessly shame you into doing better.
De Leon, Cedillo, and former council president Nuri Martinez were involved in a call that took place in October 2021 and centered on the council members' resentment about a proposed redistricting. It came to light only this week, ahead of a city election in November, after it was posted on a Reddit message board and reported by the Los Angeles Times. In the call, they made racist comments about fellow council member Mike Bonin's black son and other ethnic groups.
Details of both the arrest and criminal history of a man who is suspected of being the serial killer in Stockton have recently come to light. That includes the 43-year-old man being first arrested when he was 15.
Wesley Brownlee, a suspected serial killer recently arrested by Stockton police. He is suspected of killing 6 men and wounding a woman in a series of shootings. After receiving hundreds of tips, investigators located and cased the place where Brownlee was living. After observing patterns in his behavior, they determined he was out searching for another victim and arrested him. After Brownlee's arrest, police said he was dressed in black and had a mask around his neck and a handgun. According to authorities, he has a long criminal history which includes traffic violations and convictions for drug crimes. The California Corrections Department said Brownlee was sentenced to 2 years in prison in 1999 for possessing and selling a controlled substance. He was released on parole after serving 7 months. He was again convicted in 2001 and sentenced to prison for the same crime. The East Bay Times reported that court documents show he was first arrested at age 15 in Alameda County for selling crack cocaine.
A self-admitted pedophile who was on trial for kidnapping has died while in custody. It was after he took a 12-year-old girl from her home and was caught midway during the abduction.
41-year-old Nathan Larson, a self-proclaimed pedophilia advocate and accused child kidnapper, has died while under custody in Arizona. On Monday, the Sacramento Bee reported that Larson died September 18th, and an order of dismissal in his case was filed October 11th. The U.S. Attorney's Office had no further details on the death. He was on trial for allegedly grooming a 12-year-old California girl. He was arrested in December 2020 at the Denver International Airport while attempting to take the girl to his home in Catlett, Virginia. According to court records, he planned to sexually assault her and impregnate her when she turned 13. Detectives said Larson met the girl through social media, flew to California, and persuaded her to sneak out of her house. A Denver police officer stopped the pair during a layover in Colorado. The girl was not injured and later was reunited with her family.
An election software CEO surrendered to authorities in Los Angeles. That's after prosecutors have alleged his company is responsible for a massive data breach. Los Angeles prosecutors accuse Eugene Yu, the CEO of an election software company, of being involved in a massive data breach. This breach affected at least 1,000 victims, including minors. Yu is the head of Konek, a company that provides software to electoral districts. He was charged with the embezzlement of public funds. The Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office has also accused Yu of stealing the personal information of poll workers. The office alleges that personal data was stored in Chinese servers, a violation of Konek's contract. All data stored in China is, by law, open to access for the Chinese Communist Party. Los Angeles County Deputy District Attorney Eric Neff alleged in court that, quote, "This is probably the largest data breach in United States history." He added that there are likely thousands of victims in just Los Angeles, and the company has contracts all over the country. Yu's lawyer, Janet Levine, rejected the allegations, saying there was no evidence of personally identifiable information being distributed. Superior Court of Los Angeles County Judge Victoria Wilson ruled that Yu be released on a $500,000 bond and remain under house arrest until his next hearing on November 17th. After Yu's arrest in early October, Konek assured its customers that its data is stored in a data center in Lansing, Michigan. Fairfax County in Virginia and the city of Detroit in Michigan say they have severed ties with Konek in light of the arrest. Virginia's Prince William County said they have suspended their use of the Poll Chief software and have erased data from Konek's servers. For people who love economics, all you need to say is California has a high Gini coefficient, and that explains a lot about wealth distribution. For the rest of us, it means there is a high income inequality in the state. Here's a look at just how much. According to the OC Register, California ranks 5th in the nation for having the highest level of income inequality. That ranking is an economics term called the Gini coefficient, which was calculated from U.S. Census household income data for this year. But California was already high on the list, sitting at 7th in 2019. The report concluded that it wasn't necessarily the case of the rich getting richer, but the rich not getting poorer. That's because of pandemic lockdowns hitting California's service industry hard, followed by a slow recovery period. Other states saw more significant increases in inequality, like Wyoming and Idaho. This may have been due to people leaving large cities to work remotely. As for the rest of the country, Washington, D.C. is the most unequal for income, followed by New York and Louisiana. In terms of equality, New Hampshire is now the most equal, with Alaska and Utah following. Oktoberfest. Most people think of beer when the festival is mentioned. While there was plenty of that, over the weekend I went to hear about some of the tradition too at an annual event in the East Bay. I've just arrived at Oktoberfest being held in Walnut Creek, and all I can say is I'm ready to learn about my German heritage. Guests filled Civic Park on Saturday for steins of beer and a good time. Though Oktoberfest concluded in early October this year, the group Walnut Creek Downtown organized the event over the weekend.
I think we were trying to find a fall-themed event. In Oktoberfest a couple years ago, there weren't many programs going on in an Oktoberfest theme, and so that's why we chose that. Since then, we've had some of our neighboring cities create events, Oktoberfest events around us.
Hemingway's organization supports businesses in the city. One way is by putting on events like this 4th annual Oktoberfest to hopefully attract customers to downtown shops after meeting them at the festival.
We have a kids zone and we have a VIP tent. We have over 50 vendors and beer and wine and specialty foods.
One of those vendors, Sarah Schmidt, was selling a German food, pretzels.
Well, we love Walnut Creek. Everyone here is really friendly. We love to sell pretzels. We like all the sausages and the beer, and the band is really, really nice. The 26-member band played a range of German songs and tunes, which really set the mood. I feel excellent. I'm full of pretzels. I'm full of cider. It's been a very good day for me.
Guests wearing traditional clothing, dirndl dress for women and lederhosen for men, accented the traditional feel.
Well, this is a traditional German dirndl. So typically they would be made of a really heavy material or a wool. You can tell this one's homemade by someone's grandmother. It's lined in like just a very light linen, but this is a very Bavarian outfit, so it's not the traditional Northern German outfit.
Schmidt shared how the clothing came to be associated with the event. In the 1800s, a crown prince married a princess, and they held a large festival to celebrate the occasion.
And so everyone put on their nicest outfits. And then everyone loved it so much that they're like, we want to do this again every year. Like, doesn't matter that no one's getting married, let's keep doing it. So everyone would put on their very nicest outfits and then get ready and celebrate what is now more of a harvest and beer festival than anything else.
Others showed their admiration of past European culture decked out in full plate mail.
We're out here just recruiting, letting people know what the sport is. So internationally, it'd be considered historical medieval battles, so HMB. And then locally, there's a few organizations that run it as well.
Braden and Sean are members of Ursa's Fight Club, sparring with full armor and blunted weapons.
The sport's really big in Europe, and so we're trying to grow it in the U.S. as well. And the last few years, and so we've become more and more competitive over there, too. So.
As for the rest of the event, there was plenty of fun to be had. Daniel Hall, NTD News, Walnut Creek, California.